Welcome back, Ranger Faithful, to Raw Reviews. And what are we covering in today's Raw Review? Why? That's right. We're going to be covering the Gokai Saber versus SuperMega Saber. Now, to preface, I've shown the boxes for this in the past. I never got a box for this since I got through eBay, unfortunately. And unfortunately, the electronics don't work on this, which is kind of a bummer. But, let's not stop us, so at least you can get a general idea of what they're about, and their general pros and cons. They both have the button on the bottom. SuperMega Saber is obviously not painted. It's a little less paint apps on this, but they do work, and they do the same thing. Ejects the chamber. You'll notice the chamber paint is a bit different. With the Gokai Saber, actually got the standard key with the red arrow. SuperMega Saber came with this blue SuperMega Force Ranger key. Just like in Japan, it did the exact same thing. That's some trash I'll have to toss out in a moment. So let's flip it up. Now, this I actually find is a really cool advantage over the other one. You'll notice that it's just PVC, and it does have color here in the side, which would change based upon the color of the key you put in, because the small notches determine their color. So if you were to put it into here, it would change that central color, and it would flash, blue for the Blue Ranger, or purple for Black or Purple Rangers, and so on and so forth. Fortunately, I can't show that because this doesn't work. What a bummer. This, however, does something a little bit differently. Every time you press the button, it cycles through red, green, and blue colors. I personally would have preferred if they had yellow and pink in there as well. That'd be a nice little rainbow of colors to cycle through. But still, it's not too bad. It's got good sound quality. And when you stick a key in, like so, key in and turn, to start to charge up. Shall we try that again? Let me tilt the camera down a bit, since I'm going back a bit further so you can see everything. One thing to note, this thing's always on. You cannot turn it off. This does have a power switch, but of course since it doesn't work, I can't show you anything. Kind of a bummer. It's made of a soft PVC plastic, which you can see is kind of holding a bend from when I got it. But I managed to straighten it out. Lengthwise, they're identical. They have the exact same length. Widthwise, the SuperMega Saber is clearly thinner. You can see that it's not quite as wide, not quite as tall, but they have the same exact length. The grips on both of these are identical. See, I can fit my full adult-sized hand into the grip of either one of them comfortably. No problems there whatsoever. Then we have the Gokai Gun and the SuperMega Saber. The SuperMega Saber comes with the Green Ranger key. Since I already have the Blue Ranger key in formation, let me show you. It doesn't actually have a chamber they pop out. The actual speaker is there where the chamber would be. The paint apps are a bit different, a little less show accurate, obviously. And when you stick a key in, As long as the key is in there, it'll keep doing a charged shot. Take it out. Back to standard laser fire. Gokai Saber, on the other hand. The Gokai Saber, unlike the show, has no actual light functions here. So that's kind of a bummer. It does pop a chamber. Has a power switch right here. Mobirit sound when it powers on. Speakers right in the barrel. Rapid fire your musket balls as much as you want. Chamber pop noise. Let me grab a random key. Let's go with, and see what's easy to get to. Go on Gordo. Charging, charging, charging. Gokai Scrabble! As long as the key is in there, it'll do the same thing. So, that's the Gokai Gun and the Gokai Saber and their Super Mega Force counterparts. What's my verdict? As a observer? Honestly, I think this wins out. It's a better size, as you can see. It doesn't quite fit my hand perfectly as an adult, but it would fit a child obviously easily enough. This one, it's about the same actually in terms of grip. You can see it's clearly smaller, significantly smaller. It's not nearly as long. And honestly, the fact that you can't turn it off, you get this, and you know, there really isn't much to say about it. You put a key in, there's no real activation functionality. It's just kind of subpar, considering all the functionality you get with this. In fact, you can actually turn it on and off as the plus. I get musket sounds. Now, I wouldn't even mind if the other one it was similar to this and just had its own sounds. I wouldn't mind. It's not the sounds that really bug me. It's not that I get these sounds. I get the function here, and of course, I get separate sounds for its final wave. So I get an extra functionality with the pop out. I get the chance to turn it on and off, so I can save the battery some life. And honestly, I figure it to me is a much better toy for the Gokai Gun. The Gokai Saber versus the Super Mega Saber, on the other hand, personally, now, let me preface by saying this, I do know what sounds this makes. I've seen them plenty of times. I know what lights it makes. I know the chamber stuff. But considering that both of these do the chamber pop out, and both of them have separate sounds, but the fact that this also includes lights along the blade, which, as if you watch the show, it's not just the side that lights up, but the blade that lights up, I'm going to have to give it to this. It's a more dramatic effect when you're charging and you're attacking than simply a small light on the side that you may miss half the time when you're playing around with it as a kid or as an adult. So, personally, I'd have to say this one is a lot sleeker looking, so just as good a fit, and personally, I'd have to give my vote to Bandai of America for this one. That's my verdicts. Those are my thoughts. So, Ranger Faithful, as it were, the real question now should be, what should I review next? And I have an idea. The question is, let me know in the comments, do you want to see it now, or do you want to wait for the complete collection to come in? Because I do have these guys. And I do have the red line for both. I do not have the Magi Dragon for both. I don't have the SPD Striker for both. The Pat Striker. So I could do this and Red Lion, and I don't have the Super Robot Shogakin to show you a comparison between all three of the Megazord lines. So let me know in the comments if you just want to see these two and their Red Lion comparisons, or do you want to wait until I have everything so I can give you a comprehensive review of the entire Megazord toy line. Peace out.